Hey folks, thank you for tuning in to our latest episode of Vinyl and Vision. My guest tonight is David Tessier. Dave Tessier is back. He was my guest for episode 9 when we were covering Genesis's Nursery Crime album. I acknowledge David as being my local Genesis expert, so I had to call him back in to discuss this record, Genesis's Trespass, their second full-length album, which is their studio debut album, I should try to correctly say. Great time talking with Dave again. He is just a vast wealth of knowledge when it comes to early Genesis records. So, like I said, I had to have him come back. This is a great record. It's also a vintage early to mid 70s German pressing. And it was a lot of fun talking with Dave about it and having him break it down for me. He joined me for episode 9. Go back and listen to that one. It has samples of Dave's own personal prog rock music that he does with his band, the Dave Tessier All-Star Stars. And I'm not including any of that stuff in this episode, so just go back to that episode and give those a listen. It's a great episode, super in-depth, and a lot of great information about the band, about himself, and we do a little bit of chat this time in this episode, so give this a listen, do the things you do with the internet, do the likes, the subscribes, the comments, the follows, all the love in every aspect of the internet that you can give. Check out Dave Tessier, davidjtessier.com is his website, link in the homepage. Find him this summer. He's doing a bunch of gigs locally in the Rhode Island area. If you're around, if you're coming into the state, find him. I'm sure it'll be a good, fun summer gig. Something cool to do if you're not familiar with the state. And without further ado, enjoy.
Yeah, well, if it's good chat too. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming again, Dave. You are my first repeat guest.
Glad to be. That is lovely. I should try one more sip.
Sure. Get a good feel for it. You are my local Genesis expert.
Thank you.
So I figured I'd have to call you in for another round.
And only like the first 4 albums.
I luckily picked up this one, which you'll see in a second.
Love it.
And so we mistakenly said on the last episode that Trespass was the first Genesis record, which it's not.
Nope.
And we knew this.
We knew it.
But we just were
People
at the time.
discount the first one. I don't know why, but I always have as well. I think because the band themselves feel that Trespass was their first professional record, whereas the other one is really just demos. I mean, they didn't spend a lot of time on any of that stuff. And there's some strings. They managed to put on, I think, 2 songs, if I recall. But yeah, I think we could be forgiven.
Yeah. Well,
I forgive me.
I forgive you as well.
Thanks.
I mean, I think when we were talking about it, when we talk in general, like when I'm doing this show, I tend to realize after the fact, it's like, oh yeah, I said something that was like I said the wrong thing, or I forget to say things. Like I'll start a story and then I'll just drop off and go and just get distracted by something else. It's like a squirrel running by, and it's like squirrel.
Yeah.
Then,
Oh, well, yeah. We're all guilty of that a little bit.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot. So, but yeah. So we misspoke on that, and so if anyone did catch us on it, I'm sorry. We're sorry. We did not mean to offend. But yeah, it's not a great record anyway. I guess it's very.
I don't listen to it.
Yeah, I listened to it once today. It's a long record too.
There's way too much on it. Well, that's what I mean. It's really a collection of demos. It's not like an album.
Yeah.
Trespass was an album they constructed. It was supposed to be those songs in that order.
Right.
And that you don't get that on from Genesis to Revelation. I think the original release probably had less than what you heard today.
Oh yeah,
maybe?
it probably had bonus tracks. Yeah. But it was like an hour long.
But
I
even,
mean,
yeah.
I was just like, this is a monster of a record for a first record.
Yeah. So no, there's a lot of extras that came out later. If I recall, I want to say there was like 12 songs originally on it. If only there was a way we could find out.
Well,
we don't care enough today.
Yeah, no, we're not going to get into it. I mean, it's not really the purpose for tonight's meeting.
And again, it's not that great a record. Sorry, Genesis.
And well, I mean, I think that they would probably agree. And plus, you knew that they were like teenagers when they made that.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, so let me ask you this. So between the ages of 15 and 17 is what those members ranged in at the time that they were recording that record. So what were you doing when you were between 15 and 17?
I had only just located my penis. So there
By
was,
15?
yeah.
Really?
I started a little late.
Oh, wow.
You know, I was more into comic books
Yeah.
than what things like girls and stuff. But no, I just started to play guitar by the time I was 15. I'd been playing violin for a long time, and I had just started to play guitar and was super into Jimi Hendrix and Cream at that point. And I had a paper route. It's doing okay. I bought, let's see, it wouldn't be then. Nope. At that point, I had not yet bought my own guitar, but I did with a paper route the next year when I was 16.
Oh, yeah. What was your
Well, it
first
took a long
guitar?
time. I mean, my first really great guitar that I bought. The first guitar I bought was a Les Paul, a 73 Les Paul Deluxe
Oh,
with mini humbuckers
yeah, to save up
with
a little
a
bit for that.
repaired neck.
Yeah.
And it was $500
Wow.
at Twin City Music House.
Oh, Twin City.
And they let me pay for it in installments each week because the guy who was selling it on consignment was friends with my older brothers. They all knew each other. They all went to school together.
Oh, cool.
So it was like, oh, that kid, sure. But my first good guitar was a Stratocaster. It was 85 Fender Strat my parents got for me. I started paying for it, and then they paid for it outright. And the rest of the money I kept putting down on it, the guy just held for me, and we put it towards an amp later.
Oh, cool.
Because he wasn't allowed to tell me that they had paid for it. It was a Christmas present.
Oh, cool.
So I didn't officially really buy that one. That was a gift. But
That
yeah,
worked out, though.
Strat and a Les Paul, my first two decent guitars.
Cool. And wait, so you bought the Les Paul when?
I
73?
was 16. It was a 73. I
Ooh.
bought it in 1986.
Oh, okay.
It was 87, 86. The end of 86, I bought it.
Oh, okay.
I had it for like 3 months, and it was stolen out of my house.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, along with my buddy's bass guitar. Somebody heard us playing, and one time no one was there, they walked right in.
Wow.
Yeah, never
That's-
seen it again.
Happens to the best of them, really. I mean, bastards always stealing gear.
Interesting.
They know it's valuable. I mean,
I don't know. What do they do with it?
sell it.
How did people not like find out
They
it's
still
stolen?
go to
and-
pawn shops because they don't ask top dollar for it. They're just like, what will you give me for this? So $25? I'll take it.
And they give them a
Like-
fake ID or something.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah, it's just like, of all things, like, okay, so so you're a thief, right? So you steal things because you know they're valuable, right? And then you sell them for like pennies on the dollar. Like just so you can get your fix, whatever, you got a fucking crack habit or whatever. So it's like,
Oh, it's true.
you hear about all these bands that are on tour, then like their shit gets stolen all the time. And it's like gear that they've had for years or that they've saved up for years to buy. I mean, because this shit's not cheap. I have an organ in there. It's $1,400 when I bought it.
Right.
If that gets stolen, I mean, luckily it's only in my house, so no one come to my house. Then
I would say if they can make out with the organ, maybe they earned it.
yeah. Well, some people steal vans. I mean, like, Daryl Rabideau and the Cancer Conspiracy, their whole van got stolen
Really?
in New York City
Oh, I
with
didn't
all
know
their
that.
gear.
Well, that's the way to do it. You don't want to break a window and take individual bits.
Well, if you're going to do it, yeah, you might as well
take the
do it
whole
right.
thing. Professionals.
Yeah. Well, in New York City, too. I mean, they definitely probably were.
Yeah.
They probably
More
got top dollar for
professionals.
those
Yeah,
instruments, too.
they probably did. Stripped it. Bastards.
So what's new in Dave Tessier's world now? I mean,
Oh, we got a busy July coming up. A lot of shows.
a lot of all-star stars.
Yep, the All-Star, the All-Star Stars shows. We're doing House Party. We're doing the Revival Fest at dusk for 4th of July. We're playing a Chinese restaurant. We're doing a trio gig outside at another restaurant. And we're doing, I'm excited about July 12th. We are doing at the News Cafe in Pawtucket, the Dave Tessier All-Star Stars Rock and Roll Circus,
Oh, cool.
featuring the Tall Teenagers.
Nice.
who are fantastic. And we have a great ringmaster, local actor, comedian, musician, Aaron Blank. We have Ava Calorie will be performing.
Oh.
And we will have the Silhouette Opera Company performing, which is Mark Carter and Joe Auger.
Oh, okay.
They're an acoustic duo that
Yeah.
do covers and original stuff.
Oh, that's cool. I
Should
haven't
be
seen those guys in forever.
They're awesome. They do my Jesus Christ Superstar show whenever we do it.
Oh, really?
They're my two evil priests.
Oh.
Yeah, they're fantastic voices.
Yeah, yeah.
Seriously, two of the best singers I know of in Rhode Island, and no one knows who they are. It seems they don't get their due.
Yeah. Well, I used to frequent Joe's open mic nights at the old Custom House Tavern.
So you've seen their material.
Oh yeah. And it was so epic. Like it was like every time I went, I didn't know them at first. And I remember going one night and, you know, I just saw what's his name, Joe Auger and
Mark Carter.
Mark Carter. Mark's
Bohemian Rhapsody.
yeah, that or the Sonny and Cher's I Got You Babe.
Oh, I used to do that with him.
Yeah, he'd flip the hair.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
what?
That was my idea.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure if you saw it at the Custom House, you saw it with me.
You were there?
Yeah, I used to go there all the time, and he was my buddy, and I suggested to him that we do that, and we started to do it.
Well, he did it by himself.
Oh, so he did it without me? Okay, that's
yeah.
that's
No,
cool too.
every time I saw him, he was by himself.
Oh, we did it as a duo maybe 3 or 4 times down there, or back in those days.
Yeah.
And and it started with him. I knew he did a Cher impression, so I said, "We have to, please, let's do it."
Yeah. Oh, he's great, man. He's definitely one of the best.
Yep. Fantastic
really.
singer, fantastic actor. I would use him more if I could. I'm glad he's coming out. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that's July 12th at the News Cafe. Is the cast even going to be out by then?
It takes a couple days.
Yeah, so maybe.
So it'll be out by after July 4th.
If anyone's around, come check
happy
out.
4th of July, by the way.
Thank you.
Last episode was St. Patrick's Day. Here we are on the 4th of July now.
And the
Cheers,
Rockets
America.
Red glare.
God bless America.
I don't want to give away anything, but this won't be out in time. I think we're going to cover Team America's America Fuck Yeah to open our set for the 4th of July.
Nice.
I think we want to show our appreciation for America while at the same time our appreciation for absurd comedy.
Yeah.
I guess. So we'll see how that goes.
Is that at Revival, you said, or is it at the house
That's
show?
the Revival Fest. We're on the inside stage at dusk at 8:30
in the evening.
in
right?
the evening.
Okay.
I think it's $5 for the whole day.
Oh, yeah, it's
great.
that's bargain.
Yep.
Bargain, because I'm sure there's
It's
a lot
like
of good bands.
this-
That's from
yeah.
like noon until...
I think
late in
it
the
starts at
evening.
2, and
2,
yeah,
okay.
there's a great lineup. And I'm ignorant to what it is because I have another gig that day.
Yeah,
I
man.
haven't looked into it.
That makes sense. It's
Yeah.
a better that way to kind of walk into a surprise and kind of see all the good acts.
Well, we're gonna walk in and set up and play is how it's looking like it's gonna be, and then get to watch maybe 2 or 3 more as we're at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And we're playing, I don't know, Lakeville, Massachusetts. We're playing a house party until 5 o'clock in Lakeville, Massachusetts.
Whoa,
So I think
okay.
that's only like 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
So it should be all right.
Cool.
What could possibly go wrong? That's what I say.
Famous last words. I'll have to check in with you on the 5th.
On the 5th, we'll be playing the Oriental Pearl in Westport.
Oh.
8-track classics, 3 sets of deep tracks from the 60s and 70s.
Cool. Any cool gems in there that I might know?
I like the Indian Reservation by Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Oh, okay. Wow, you're going real deep.
Yeah.
Paul Revere
We
and the
do
Raiders.
the old Manfred Mann, Blinded by the Light.
Oh, that's a good one.
We do,
Crowd favorite, right?
oh, yeah. Gary Wright, My Love is Alive. No? The Dreamweaver guy. He had another song
Okay.
called My Love is Alive, which is pretty awesome. We do...
I think I'm still stuck on Manfred Mann. Wasn't that the Bruce Springsteen song?
yeah, they covered it.
Yeah, yeah.
And their version is kind of different.
Oh, very different.
Yeah, that's the version we do.
Yeah, Springsteen has definitely given his nod to Manfred Mann to be like, that's like your song now.
With all the weird whooshy keyboard sounds and stuff like that. It's great.
Yeah. Wrapped up like a douche. What's the lyric?
Revved up like a deuce.
That's one of the.
I like to shush the audience at that moment. Revved up like a shh. But it doesn't always work. They're rabid.
So let's get right into it. Let me give you this.
What have we got? Show me.
I think you'd be kind of impressed by this because.
Zum Sonderpreis.
Yeah, right. Isn't that cool, that sticker? So, last you were here, we talked about nursery crime, and the pressing I had was a German pressing. As a matter of fact, I still have that copy. Yeah, it's embossed on the back of the PRS.
You still have the copy.
Yeah, it never sold. I can't believe it, because listening back to that record and to the episode that we did together, I was just like, this fucking record is so good. It sounds so good. It's just a great album. And I found this copy of Trespass, which is also a German copy. And the copy of Foxtrot that I had at the time of our last episode, which has since sold, was actually just like this one. Yeah, I would actually say that I would venture to say that it was actually probably pressed around the same year, because it has that same sticker on the front. Or it had that same sticker on the front. I don't know who the happy owner is now and where it is, but it's out there somewhere.
This is great shape.
Yeah, again, right? Like, just fantastic, pristine, flimsy on the cardstock, on the jacket again, because it's a foreign pressing, like I told you before.
Oh, look at that. The original label. That's lovely.
Yeah, I guess as far as those labels are concerned, there has been a couple of different variations where they have the larger Mad Hatter head, and then the newer issues of it have a smaller version of it.
Okay, I never noticed that.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to see so many of them just to figure it out. Is that side A? Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
I smash it on the booze.
Oh, that booze. It's always getting in the way.
Booze.
So, let's see.
This is a gorgeous shape.
Yeah. Again, a little pressed. Like, remember how I was showing you the spine?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I would almost venture to say that this is from the same person. Like, but I've gotten this months after the fact. Like, I just got this recently. And that's why I had to call you up and get you in here. Because I was just like, Trespass. This is...
So airy-fairy. So pastoral. So English.
Except for that knife.
And then there's a knife in it.
Yeah. Isn't it groovy? These guys.
I love this record. I don't love it as much as some of the other records. I find the second, third, and fourth albums to be really great, with a couple of small hiccups, if you will, in the energy, or just like some parts are a little slow.
Yeah.
Not tempo-wise, but just get boring, you know. I think all of those first three albums suffer from that to a certain extent in a couple of places, but in general they're great. This one, I think, stands up. It's as good as Nursery Crime and Foxtrot. They just, well, actually, yeah, no, I forget what I was about to say. It still has the knife. You know, each one of these albums has a kind of a centerpiece tune. Supper's Ready, the musical box, boom, the knife. So I think this record stands up, and I think it doesn't get its due because there's no Steve Hackett or Phil Collins on it.
Yeah, it's a little weak in the performance, maybe.
It's a little clunky.
Yeah,
I would say. Yep,
but
a little clunky.
For a sophomore record.
And again, these guys were like 22 or 23 at the time.
Not even, because if Genesis from Revelations came out in 69, and they were between the ages of 15 and 17, that means...
You're talking 18 to 20 maybe at this point,
tops.
right? 15, 17, 18, yeah.
Yeah, 16, 18. So, realistically speaking, when you were 15 is when you started playing guitar?
14, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
15 playing.
Was when you bought your first guitars.
Yeah, yeah. I was given one when I was actually just before I turned 14. Or no, it was just after. It was right after my birthday. And then I bought my own when I was 15. That's all. It was a little, was it a Cort, C-O-R-T.
Oh, okay.
A Cort.
Yep.
It was all right. It's just tiny. It was this really small guitar.
Oh, okay.
But it worked.
Yeah, that's good. Good learner guitar, obviously, right?
Yeah. I wasn't recording anything until I was 18.
What was your first recording?
I did some guitar for a girl I knew. So this would have been when I was 18, just before going into college. A high school girl, a year younger than me, for her senior project, she went to Wheeler, and they did this thing. She could use the Brown recording studio, so she did a single, a 2-sided single, and I played guitar on one of the songs. That was it. Came in, chink, chink, did my thing there. And then the first record I did for real would have been, well, what's for real? I went into a studio we paid for and we released it. I was like 23.
Yeah. And what was that?
That was Honeybone, my band Honeybone. What was it called? Yanker My Wind Off. Yanker My Wind Off. It was a tape. Yep. And then we recorded and released. We recorded a bunch of stuff next that we didn't release. Then out of that session, we released a single called The Grasshopper a little while later. That was on 45-inch vinyl. And that was all I did with that band.
Okay.
And again, I was maybe 24 at that point.
Cool. So in between that, like from your very beginnings, like buying your first guitars when you were around 15, 16 years old to 23, various just different bands you were working on, is like nothing that was too serious, just...
I kind of took it seriously once I got into it, and I had bands in school. I had a good friend of mine played bass, so he was there. I actually had 2 good friends who played bass. That worked out. Drummers were around. I managed to have a power trio going through most of high school.
Oh, cool.
And then out of high school, I joined up with that girl. She had, well, actually, I helped her put a band together to a certain extent. No, I guess I didn't. She knew everybody but the bass player. I brought her a bass player. I didn't really help. It was my suggestion that we play out, though.
Yeah.
And she had asked me to play for her final school concert. I said we should, play out. So we played a couple of gigs, but we never recorded all together. I kept busy. Then I went right from band to band, and then for a little while I just did plays. I would say from when I was about 19 to 21, I played guitar at home. Went to school for music, and then did plays at night for the most part. I didn't really have a band at the beginning of college.
Oh, okay. Huh. Cool, man.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with it.
Yeah, no, it seems that you had been very immersed in it from a very young age, and
Yeah,
all the way
I was
up
kind
till
of
now.
singular. I didn't like too much stuff. I wasn't interested in a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
It was mostly comic books. I
Right.
liked listening to music, and when I realized I could play, I liked playing violin, but I didn't ever put it together that I could play other things, that I wasn't just reading the dots.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why,
Yeah.
but it wasn't until I realized, and I don't know what took me so long to realize, that a guitar would mean I could actually play like Beatles songs and stuff that I liked,
Right.
and that would be fun. It didn't ever occur to me till I was like 12.
Huh.
And then it became an obsession. And I stayed very limited. I still liked comic books, but mostly just guitar.
Yeah.
And I would imagine I was pretty difficult to hang out with for like till now. Still, unless we're talking about something I like Genesis.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. That's actually kind of how we met.
Kind of.
We met because I was serving at Trinity Brew House, and you came in for lunch break, and you were by yourself. But it's always a drawing point when a musician sees another musician and makes the connection that they are a musician, and
Yes.
they're like, oh, I can talk to this guy about music, because you had like a I don't remember which.
It was Guitar World, I believe.
Guitar World or something. Yeah, it was some kind of like music magazine or something, or catalog that was by your side, and it's just like, oh, you play music, huh?
Yeah.
It's like,
Nobody else buys those mags. It's so true. Guitar World,
it's a
guitar.
dead giveaway.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, oh, you do something. I gotta find out what you do.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And it turns out you are a staple of the Rhode Island music scene yourself.
Yeah. I was not so much these
At
days.
that point, you were.
At that point, yeah. I was working at
Comic book superheroes was playing a lot when my old band, Grandizer Punch, was
Oh.
trying to get gigs.
it. Yeah, I remember,
I
that
remember
name.
you guys being around.
I think we probably have even shared a build then in that case.
Once, maybe.
Once or
maybe twice.
Did you do the Rattlehead Records series, like music series? They
No.
like he would like.
I
forget
remember
who it
that. I
was.
never did that. Yeah.
You never did those?
Don't think so.
Oh shit! Because I feel like, well, whatever. I mean, I felt like because they were like trying to set up these shows at like high schools and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like we definitely did one.
Yeah,
And
no.
I can't remember who was organizing those events and who was trying to run Rattlehead Records. But
I don't remember.
I remember them recording a lot of those sessions too. Like they would always like kind of just do some kind of CDR recording or something. Just, really minimal production. But I think we have a recording of it somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
At
But,
a high school.
Well, we
Like
were.
in an auditorium?
Yeah, it was like some high school auditorium.
cool.
I can't remember. Right.
That is really cool.
They hosted it for like because I was already graduated,
Yeah.
but we were still playing, and they asked us to do this like high school gig. So I thought that was really strange because it was just like they actually like sold tickets, like it was like some after school show, and so kids at that school like bought tickets to come to this show, and I was just like, this is so weird. But it was really funny because it seemed like we were like rock stars,
Right,
And
right.
it's just like because these kids are like, whoa, these guys are like not much older than us, and they're like selling tickets at our school, and we're buying them.
Yep.
It's like so weird. I don't know what the hell that was all about.
Well, it's easy to get kind of like the mass hysteria going when they're teenagers.
Yeah,
It's like, here's something.
right.
It's something to do.
Yeah. I never fell for it because I was already getting involved. Because I was playing when I was
Right.
15 too. I was
Exactly.
already playing out.
Yep.
So it was just like at any time it was like a band's coming through, I'm just like,
Yeah. I didn't have
Doesn't
too much
really
of a
matter.
peer pressure problem.
yeah.
I always had something else I was interested in if I don't want to do something.
Right. But even that perception that you have of like these people being like, like untouchable type of like rock stardom people, like I never really had that
No.
because I was just like, I'm already playing out at clubs. So what? Like, yeah, I mean, they're great bands. I'm sure they're great bands, but I don't care. They're just normal people.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know. That's how I always thought of it. I don't get starstruck usually. Every now and then.
Easy to say till you run into somebody. Do you know for sure you don't get starstruck?
I mean, there was a couple times where I got a little giddy, but not really. I mean, like who's one of the most famous people you've got to meet?
I walked into physically John Amos, the dad from Good Times, 70s actor, big black
Yeah.
man, great
Oh, okay.
actor.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to America, Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
He's McDowell.
Oh,
It's
right.
his restaurant.
Okay.
He's a great actor. I used to love that show, and I walked right into him, and there he was, and he was himself. He's older, but he's this big, strong-looking man,
Yeah.
and I was just amazed, and I didn't know what to say. I went, John Amos, and he was, hello, looking down at me. He's such a big guy, and I just got flooded with cool memories of Good Times. He played a really great dad in Good Times.
Right.
I always liked the character, and I'm like, you are just cool. You're just cool, and all the pictures of all the movies and shows he's been in behind him, Now, in a similar fashion, but not starstruck, was a few moments later. I was down at Comic-Con up in Providence, and you know who William Zabka is, the bad guy from the Karate Kid,
Oh, okay.
Johnny Cobra Kai.
Okay.
I have often touted how awesome a bad guy he was in a bunch of different movies back
Yeah.
in those days.
Right.
And it was the same thing. I was just finishing talking to John Amos, and my wife yells, David, you love William Zabka. And I turn around and I said, William Zabka, I love... Hey, William Zabka! And he was psyched that I was like talking so nicely about him without knowing he was there. He was really sweet to me.
Yeah.
And we chatted for quite a while. I didn't get starstruck, but it was just super cool. Now
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, here's just a guy. I know you're a guy. I
Right.
know what kind of job you do.
Right.
And I just appreciate the fuck out of it. John Amos, I was like, you're my TV dad. I don't know why it hit me so hard. But that was it. John Amos, how weird.
Yeah. That's a little obscure.
But
also,
afterwards, I was like, oh, yeah.
right.
I met Jenna Elfman the last time around. I'm like, she's very gorgeous.
Janet Elfman?
Jenna Elfman, Dharma and Greg.
Oh, okay.
Got to get up on your actors, James.
I know. I've lost a lot of touch. I used to be very big movie buff, and ever since I have not worked at.
Well, that's what I'm talking
theater.
about. People from back in the day.
Well, no, they're not that old. I mean, like that's references I can get on board with, but yeah, the names are a little iffy for me.
Yep, Jenna Elfman.
Yeah, I mean, you tell me like where they're from, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right, I know them.
And Lance Henriksen.
Now, what about musicians though?
I've never met anybody.
You've never met any famous musicians?
I met Eddie Vedder backstage at Lollapalooza, the first Lollapalooza, second Lollapalooza,
Yeah.
the one they did.
Okay.
And he was nice. He was walking. We were walking in the same direction. He looked at me. I was like, oh, hey. And he says, hey, what's your name, man? And he just chatted with me for a second because I had questions. It's like, so,
Yeah.
are you doing this song? Oh, no.
Backstage? What were you doing backstage?
Not backstage. I'm sorry. In the behind the stage area.
Oh, okay.
The walkway behind the actual amphitheater.
'Cause it's
there
big.
where people hang out. Yeah.
Right.
Not,
Okay.
He had just come from backstage. And I had almost walked into him the direction I was going. I just saw him. I spotted him.
Yeah.
And I was just right next to him. And he was with a girl, and he looked over at me. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? He was very nice, but there was certainly no starstruck stuff there.
Huh.
No, I've met nobody.
Well, Eddie Vedder's a pretty famous one. That's a big one.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty big. I guess. Oh, Shannon Hoon. He's dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Only briefly. Shook his hand. Good show. Chatted for a second. You know
Really?
my buddy. Yeah, I know him. He's a good guy. Boom. That was it.
Yeah.
Both very pleasant encounters.
That's cool.
River Phoenix. He's a musician, actor, but he was very, very drunk.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't really have any conversation with him. It's like, looking good. Good show.
Yeah.
That's it. I think that's all for musicians.
Right. But so all those times, never like a big deal to you necessarily. It was just like obviously kind of momentous and at the time, but especially looking back at it now, and especially those two, River Phoenix and Shannon Hoon.
Oh yeah, I knew how big they were at the time. But yeah.
Right. But now with them being gone is like even
that's
even worse.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are you gonna do, man? Everybody dies.
Yeah, it's true. So, what was I going to say about this record, huh? Well, what can you tell me? You're my expert. You're the guy you're my local source for Genesis information.
So, if I remember correctly, I want to say this was recorded at Trident Studios.
Correct.
It's the first time they say they were in a real studio.
Right.
So they count it as their first real record. They had been working on these songs live for a long time. As opposed to the from Genesis to Revelation songs, which are basically just written and then recorded. They didn't really play out too much at that point.
Somebody had kind of scouted them. And
Yep, Jonathan King was his name. He had was an older boy who had been at their school, and he graduated and somehow got a job at some record company and signed somebody who had a brief hit in like '67. So he was kind of a bigwig or something when he came back to school to visit.
Yeah.
And they apparently accosted him and gave him a tape. And he liked that they sounded like the Bee Gees. And then he thought, I can be a genius producer. So he paid for them to record from Genesis to Revelation. But he also is responsible for all the weird strings that are on a couple of the songs.
Yeah.
Because he was going for a certain kind of style.
Yeah, clearly. Something that Genesis was not necessarily.
They were not into it at all.
Yeah.
They were glad to record. But after that, they got rid of John. Actually, I think John Silver, that drummer, left. And when they got John Mayhew, they got kind of a boost because he was a much more professional drummer. He had been playing in bands prior.
Yeah.
So at this point, you have the lineup of Peter Gabriel and Tony Banks, who are school friends. You have Mike Rutherford and Anthony Phillips, who are school friends. Anthony Phillips played guitar, and they had a rotating drummer seat, which was initially filled by Peter Gabriel, strangely enough. A lot of people don't realize.
Yeah,
he started as a drummer and initially played drums, but he was a better singer than Anthony Phillips, so they made him the singer. Probably more theatrical would be my guess.
Yeah,
as well.
it definitely worked out for them.
Yeah. I'll
That was a
say.
good move on their part.
So Anthony Phillips was considered by the rest of the band the guiding light. He was the primary songwriter. He was a big part of the whole influence of the 12-string guitars. He plays the electric guitar in this record, and we'll talk about that later. He has a pretty aggressive style when he needs to. And apparently he kind of had a breakdown after this and didn't want to play in front of people. He had tremendous stage fright.
Yeah.
And so he quit, and they thought they should quit, and he told them not to. But they really thought that without him they couldn't do it, which is really amazing. But when they decided to go on, they decided to clean house and get rid of their drummer as well. because they felt that he basically was keeping up as opposed to propelling them.
Yeah.
And then they put out the ads and got Phil Collins and Steve Hackett not long after, a couple months if I recall.
Yeah, had to have been pretty quick because the next record was only released like a year after this.
Right.
So.
And a lot of that material was already being worked on while they were recording this, apparently.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. From what I understand, a bit of the musical box was part of Anthony Phillips that carried over.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure which part, but that sounds right to me. What else is there to say about this album? Yeah, it's kind of a beginner's effort. You hear where they're going with it, and
yeah, I think it definitely pertains to the rest of the catalog. Looking back at it now, as far as kind of very very close in style and sound to Nursery Crime, the follow up, and then Foxtrot after that, and then Selling England by the Pound. All of those are very similar in sound, whereas that very first record, which obviously now we've kind of discredited as their first in general, which Data had a very different feel, because if no one has listened to it, I only listened to it today, and like I told you, it just sounds like Jefferson Airplane, really.
I love the early Bee Gees, but yeah.
Early Bee Gees, yeah. I mean,
it does not sound like Genesis.
It has a
kind
very
of the point.
distinct 60s psychedelic rock sound to it.
Yep.
So this was definitely very much of a...
I don't think there's any electric guitar. I think it's all acoustic and piano.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember now. I mean, I have a horrible memory. But yeah, it was definitely way mellow, not very prog sounding, not a lot of very experimental sounds or structures, nothing like that. So
another bit of info on this, if I recall correctly, Tony Banks always considered himself a piano player, and he wasn't comfortable playing the organ, and he felt that this album was the first time he got a handle on it.
Okay.
And I think it has great organ playing on it, so I don't know where he was at beforehand.
Huh. He's the primary keys player, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's strange.
Yep.
Well, let's give it a whirl and let's try to listen up to that. Listen up for that.
Looking for someone, I guess I'm doing that.
A little more.
Trying to find the memory in a dark room. Dirty man, you're looking like a Buddha. I know you well.
Looking like a Buddha.
Yeah. Keep on
Some
a
of the
straight
lyrics.
line.
Good God.
Yeah.
I don't believe I can. Trying to find
Guitar slightly out of tune. It's lovely.
It works though.
I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
What's a microtone between friends? That's what I always say.
It's their second record. Come on. First time in the studio. They got all the nerves, all right?
So they used to construct their old sets to build up in intensity. So this was like their third song. Not third song, a third song from the end, if I recall.
Oh, okay.
And they would do this, then Stagnation, then The Knife. That's all they had.
Oh.
And everything else you notice is softer. So they would start with like Dusk, which is later. Oh, great vocals on this. I think Mike Rutherford's bass playing is very, very competent on this record, and his style just gets it doesn't change at all over the next 4 records, except just get tighter and better with it.
Yeah.
Very, very busy.
Yeah. I mean, thinking specifically back to Nursery Crime, I can't remember which track it was now, but I remember it was the second side. I think there was something like that.
The really fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like drives the song.
Yep.
You had mentioned how.
Yeah, that's the last song. It cuts out. It's like.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, he progressed pretty quickly. So it seems like they all did. But I mean, I guess that's what happens when you are just.
It's all they did.
Yeah, you're just into the music, and you're just. I mean.
Focused on playing it right.
Yeah. And it goes again with that whole thing about how they were just like producing so quickly. You know, I mean, like
Yeah.
seriously, for to bang out a record in a year, like nobody does that anymore. And I'm
No.
not even speaking about the physical aspect of like getting it pressed and getting it out, because that takes time too.
Yeah.
More time these days, especially to press vinyl.
This is very proto-Genesis right here.
Yeah,
This
no.
breakdown.
I mean, this is clearly the beginning of like where their career was going to take off. Like, or
Well,
what
it
was
sounds
gonna
like what they were
become
going to be, yeah.
as. Exactly. Yeah.
Great organ playing. Great guitar playing.
Yeah. So let's see. If this
Drummer's
was,
keeping up.
Recorded June through July 1970. Released October 23rd, 1970. This pressing is a post-March 1972.
It's as old as me.
Oh yeah? March 2?
No,
But
the record, the first, not this one. The original record is as old as me. I was
Oh.
born October 1st, 1970.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But yeah, I guess this one's a little younger.
A little bit. Just a couple years.
Wow.
Well, maybe it says post 72, so I guess it could be somewhere
Anytime
between
after, yeah.
73, 74.
This sounds like something off of Foxtrot with the flute.
I'm having a hard time differentiating their records,
Yeah.
because I never had a good relationship with Genesis, you know. So
Yeah.
I just recently have kind of been exploring their records and
Listening to
give
it
them-
all at once is,
Yeah,
it's very similar.
2 or 3 listens at a time.
I
you
have a
know.
hard time with the the final side of Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. I still don't know which song is which on that. I couldn't tell you. I've listened to it tens of times.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, like,
The rest of it I know like the back of my hand. But
It's the
something
same
about
thing-
the end, I get confused because it's so similar. They ran out of ideas. They just basically did a lot of the same stuff for
Right.
the last
yeah,
side.
I can imagine.
Asia. I just saw Asia Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the episode about them with Daryl,
Nice.
because
I don't know that album as well.
the debut Asia
Yeah.
record. God, it's horrible.
'Cause I'm not surprised.
I mean, no, okay. So it definitely has
It's not like this.
like this, but with a very pop and synth like overlapping
Production.
over it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of the problem with it. You know,
Well, that's what they were going for. They were trying to be
Yeah.
freaking prog pop.
right,
And
right.
you can't do that.
Well, you can obviously, because they did it and they did it well. I mean, they sold 4 million copies of that record.
Off that one song.
2 songs.
2 songs.
2 hit
But
songs,
really the
whatever.
one song.
Yeah.
But really the one.
4 million records of that first record sold.
That blows my mind. Anybody cared that much.
Well,
now,
that's
did
the pop.
GTR sell any records?
GTR?
Okay, I want to say early 90s, Steve Howe and Steve Hackett got together for a prog rock pop band again.
Oh, okay.
And they didn't have any other names in the band. It was just them. They had one video, one single. Couldn't tell you how it went.
And they were called GTR.
GTR, guitar. Because they both play guitar.
Yeah.
And no.
Because they were all playing guitar? Is that what?
No, because they both play guitar, Steve Howe and Steve Hackett.
Okay.
Genesis Yes guys together.
Yeah. But see, that's where it didn't work, because it wasn't like if it wasn't a structured band, if it wasn't like your typical structure, bass, guitar, keys, drums.
Oh, that might be interesting.
Well, no, I mean, because if it's just 2 guitar players, and that's like the focal point, like that's obviously the 2 of them as guitarists primarily, like maybe it's a little too out there for the pop community.
Sure.
Like, yeah, for a prog band, it works out fine. You could probably do it, and then you have your typical success. But
Nah, they
if
had
you're
a
trying to
lame
have it be,
band.
yeah, if it's just trying to be like a pop mainstream success thing, it's like it's
Well,
not
they
gonna
were a
work.
band with the 2 of them. It was a band. I mean, they had a singer and whatnot, but
Yeah.
it was just bad.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if they sold any records.
Hmm.
So now we go into White Mountain.
Okay.
White Mountain. This is, I don't know who wrote the lyrics to what on this. This one feels like Tony Banks because he likes to write the mythology. I think he wrote Squonk on the Trick of the Tail record. It's not weird enough to be Peter Gabriel. Gabriel makes up words, and he like mixes words together that don't make sense. Whereas the other two guys just narrate.
Okay.
So this is one of those, prog rock mythology songs. It's great. It's got a little Spanish feel. Love it.
A little bit, yeah. Peter Gabriel has always had that voice too.
Yeah, that kind of weird rasp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, considering he seems like he was probably, very childlike during this recording, really. I mean, even if he was the oldest, he was 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, tops, right.
But he's always maintained that voice because even later on in his career, he still has that same sound to his voice. It's very strange.
Do you know he went back and re-recorded the vocals on a live album?
Really? The Genesis live
Okay,
album?
Genesis had a Lamb Lies Down on Broadway recording in its entirety.
Okay.
But there were some issues with the recording of the vocals where they cut in and out or he wasn't near the mic enough. And the guitar, apparently something went wrong with the recording of the guitar. And they remastered it, and he went in and he redid like 90% of the vocals. And Steve Hackett fixed a couple of guitar parts. And they released it, and it sounds great. It's you would not know unless you A-B'd them. And then when you A-B them, you realize how much better he sounds now than he used to.
Huh.
He was really thin.
Oh, okay.
He couldn't hit a bunch of notes, so he had a bad night. I think that might be part of why they wanted to re-record it, too. But he had this strange warble that he finally got rid of. That kind of thing. And on YouTube, there's a woman who's really into Genesis who A-Bs it. And he sounds so much better now. And you'd think rock singers just are going to wear themselves down. He didn't. He just built in richness.
Yeah.
And built up.
Huh.
And he, for the most part, hit all the notes he needed to. It was impressive. And that's my story.
I like it. No, I mean, I've always liked him as a singer, really. My earliest experiences with Peter Gabriel was him solo.
Shock the Monkey.
Somewhere around that, like, which is one of his solo records that's just self-titled.
Yeah,
one of the
it's four in a row. Yeah. I think So is the first one that's not. Maybe.
I think it's the first one that doesn't. Yeah, that's actually has a title to it.
Yeah.
Even though it's called So.
Us and but yeah, Shock the Monkey. Games Without Frontiers was another single.
Okay.
When I was like in high school, it was a great, weird song.
Yeah, and what was the other big one? Oh, then I think it was later. It was probably either So or Us. It was Sledgehammer.
Yeah, that's So.
Okay.
That was a monster record.
Yeah.
Tons of hits off of that. It was so good.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of like what I remember most, like being a kid and like kind of watching MTV and seeing those videos.
Oh yeah. In Your Eyes.
Oh.
Sledgehammer.
God. The
Big Time.
The Say Anything soundtrack.
Don't Give Up.
Yeah. Oof. Murderers, all of them. But so that was, and so I always loved singing from all those songs and my experience with those songs.
I've seen him live a few times. 3 times? 3 times. Always great. Always sounded good. The last time he was a little heavy and slow, but he still sounded fantastic, and the band sounded great.
Yeah.
He wasn't climbing all over the place anymore.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate that it tends to happen with the singers as they get older, is that they usually can't hit the same notes. Their voice literally changes.
Yep.
I mean, it's just something that happens. You can't keep up with that same.
I've heard conflicting things. I've heard them say like Pavarotti, his voice, that the classical tenor's voice, don't mature till the 30s. I've heard stuff like that.
Okay.
I've heard all sorts of different things. I think some people just don't have the same wear and tear.
Yeah.
And they're not using it for the same stuff.
Right.
So Pavarotti, apparently his last performance, he lip-synced or something. It was outside and it was freezing cold, and he
jeez.
couldn't sing. And so they went on with it and they lip synced. But up until he died, apparently he was still very vocally strong. And that's doing some pretty serious stuff. Now, I do believe that he couldn't hit a bunch of the top anymore, like what you're talking about.
Right.
But I wonder, like, how much is it wear and tear? The dude in the Zombies, his voice has changed incredibly, but he's still, if anything, he's hitting those high notes like stronger now. He's belting them as opposed to hitting them legitimately,
Right.
like he used to. You know, he used to be very soft with the high notes.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of like, she's not there. He's kind of screaming it out. But I don't hear any like loss of.
No, he's a great example because I went to see them on that most recent reunion tour doing the Odyssey and Oracle, and it was amazing.
And he's saying
He was great.
Hold your head up. He sang the hell out of that. That's high. That's some high stuff.
Yeah, no, I was very impressed with how well he sounded for his age. You know, I mean, he's an older guy. He's probably mid to late 70s, right?
Oh, gotta be
I think so.
in the 70s. I want to say early 70s. I want to say he just had his 71st. Either he or Rod Argent just turned 71.
Okay.
So it's got to be close.
Yeah.
You know.
But either way, I mean,
Either way.
it was very impressive.
Apparently, the thing that happens when we all get old is the loss of control. That the voice starts to waver, and that's not necessarily the range, not necessarily power in certain spots, but the control of pitch apparently starts to go as the muscles weaken. Like that's well. Fortunately, I've been pitchy forever, so no one will notice. We move on to Visions of Angels.
Visions of Angels.
Is it or Pictures of Angels?
Isn't that something that Peter Gabriel? That was like one of his suggestions for the band's name before they landed on Genesis, something like that.
Don't know. Maybe.
It was something weird like that.
Maybe they used to use it on their flyers. Say Genesis Live, Visions of Angels all around.
Huh.
It's a pretty psychedelic song, I guess.
They all have their moments of psychedelia, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, for the most part, they sound very straightforward. Like, even now, not so psychedelic. I mean, it sounds very kind of typical folky.
Yeah, this one's
almost
nice
Celtic
and easy.
in a way.
You can hear just the chords and
Yeah.
identify them, as opposed to when it's all like.
But as it's building,
Yeah.
like, you hear that little weird organ in the background. It's very alien-like sounding, you know, and then it builds up.
Modulation.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I'll save it for later. But
That's a pretty cool organ part. You hear that out of one ear? Just the
Yeah.
organ.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not.
I get it in my right ear.
I have it in my left. I'm not crazy about the sound of this record right now. It has a little bit of crackle to it, a little bit of surface noise. It's kind of bumming me out. It's good. It still sounds good.
I hadn't even noticed. I'm terrible.
Yeah. Well, because the Nursery Crime record that we listened to, the first side was like almost pristine. The second side sounded like this.
Ah.
Had moments of just kind of like maybe a little bit lighter crackle, you know, but it's not that bad. So we were talking about psychedelic sounds, landscapes, or whatever that they do in their music. This one's still pretty mellow, pretty.
All the instruments are very normal.
Yeah.
But now what are they doing with it here?
They go somewhere that's weird. Yeah, that's their thing. They always go somewhere weird.
Yep. Back to the piano.
Build up.
Back to the organ. Oh. It sounds like they're live in the studio. I don't hear an extra instrument here.
Oh no, they're probably all.
It's not like
playing
organ
live.
and piano. It's just organ, just guitar,
Right.
and then messing with the panning all the time.
Now, you said Tony Banks was the keys player, correct?
Guitar, bass, keys, yep.
Okay. I think it might be the next song.
I think the drummer's fills and parts are good, but it just sounds like he's playing along as opposed to pushing it.
Right.
Phil Collins, like you feel the drums.
Oh, yeah. It's just like the band had to kind of catch up to him as far as like his intensity and his like what he would play maybe.
You know, have you ever played with a drummer that you feel like you have to like drag along with you? No, you're lucky if you haven't.
Well, I haven't been able to sit with many drummers, I don't think.
Yeah, there are drummers that play that push. There are drummers that sit, and there are drummers that drag. That's normal, and that's just a feel thing. And each of those feelings are useful.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are some drummers who their job is to tap into the heartbeat of whatever's going on. You know,
Right.
That's their job. They got to be able to tap into it and then ride it for everybody. And there are some drummers who don't tap into it; they follow yours.
Right.
And I notice it immediately.
Oh, okay.
Immediately, and it's
Yeah.
not just somebody who doesn't know the song; it's someone who's waiting for shit to happen. It's maybe a confidence thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But a lot of drummers are pretty competent. You wouldn't notice if they're playing with competent people.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had to rely on them, they're not going to keep it together.
Yeah. Okay.
And to me, a real drummer or a drummer I would prefer to work with is somebody that if we all stop, there's still music. You know, whatever he's doing, there's still music.
Right.
You know,
Well,
it's
that's
not
like
just following along, not just going to you know,
Right.
but is making his own song.
Yeah. He's an integral part to the band. I mean,
Oh,
drummers,
so much, if
drummers
not,
are
a little bit
backbones.
more. You know?
Yeah. Well, so I've always been a bass player. So for me, it's just like I am hand in hand with the drummer. You know, we obviously we work together all the time. So I don't know if it's maybe a guitarist and maybe a lead's relationship with the drummer in the back because it's
For me, it's a singer.
yeah.
You know, I
Right.
need something. Because I sing and play, I need a lot of support.
Yeah.
I need to be able to make mistakes and not have it fall apart. I've been in a lot of bands where just the other 2 to 3 guys are just hanging on your every word. They're just
Yeah.
like deer in headlights. And they're just, you know, they are meant to be in a different band, just not with me. That's all. They can have their band. They're
Yeah.
fine.
Uh-huh.
They're good people, I'm sure. But no, I need everyone to do their job. Plus.
Right. Yeah.
That's
well,
what makes it great, a little plus.
Yeah, well, it's always better to be in a band with a bunch of people that are kind of standalone players because you know you can be secure that wherever I may falter, they're gonna pick up for that.
That's the thing, absolutely.
Yeah. If you feel like, well, if I fuck up and I have an off night and I mess up whatever, then the band's not gonna carry on. The whole thing's gonna fall apart. That's not a good feeling.
No.
So I can understand that.
And I've seen bands I wasn't in where I could just tell that was going on.
Yeah.
Where there's like one guy doing all the work and everyone else just kind of looking at him, looking at each other.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I guess I could see
Side
that.
1, Visions of Angels. Not a favorite of mine, Visions of Angels.
No.
But it's not terrible.
It's I mean, they're good songs. I definitely don't discredit them. You know, I mean, in my younger age, I'd probably hastily kind of write this off as like, it's only okay.
The first song, though, didn't save that side for you? I think Looking for Someone's a little bit exceptional. That makes me want to hear the second side. Whereas if it was just those 2 tunes, I
Yeah.
might have given up.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the weird thing about records and the way they used to make records was that they probably did that purposefully, you know, whereas now it's just like you just look for the single no matter what.
Because that's not the way they played live. That was
Yeah.
the thing. They realized that, I guess, that they better put something kind of slamming at the beginning.
Right.
With some energy. Because, yeah, the Fang and the Angels there,
Yep.
just not that exciting.
White
Now,
Mountain.
side 2, White Mountain. Fang. It's about Fang.
Oh, okay.
Fang's frantic paws told the tale of his sins. They never clear up what his sins are. But apparently the wolf pack... Oh, no, they do. They say, Fang dared to trespass where no wolf may tread. The lost something of the dead. That's right. So now they have ousted him from the pack, I guess, and they're going to kill him, but they talk. But they're wolves. So I don't know what's up with the White Mountain song. It's never been a favorite of mine.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, it's more of that flowery poeticism or something that I'm assuming Peter Gabriel is responsible for.
I disagree
These are all
in this
stuck
case.
together.
I do believe he's responsible for a lot of it. I don't think that's him. Because
No.
as I was saying earlier, he tends to be more absurdist with his lyrics.
Yeah.
If you go down to Willow Farm to look for butterflies, flutterbys, gutterbys, something like that. He likes stuff like that. Whereas Tony Banks is all... what's it, like, mythic. He writes. I think he wrote the lyrics to "The Fountain of Salmachus" from
okay.
Nursery Crime, I believe. I think White Mountain is him, but we could do the research, find out. But that's my guess, just from experience listening to their lyrics.
White Mountain. Wait, we'll get to it. Oh, wait. White Mountain and Dusk had been worked out by Banks and Rutherford before deciding to record the album. The whole group worked on the music for Stagnation. It's not giving me anything about who did the lyrics.
However, Rutherford, that's what I was saying earlier. The Rutherford and Banks lyrics I can generally not tell apart. Though, as it turns out, actually, okay, looking at the whole catalog of work, Rutherford is very much more the love song guy.
Okay.
I now realize. So he wrote, oh God, Off Selling England by the Pound, More Fool Me was his song, which is very, very, lovely little acoustic love tune. But yeah, from what I understand, Tony Banks, he liked to get weird and wordy. Because I know he wrote the words to, this is why I have this opinion now. I'm putting it all together. Tony Banks wrote the words to Firth of Fifth, okay, which is Off Selling in England by the Pound. That song and the lyrics have a specific style that I believe I recognize elsewhere, and that's why I'm forming opinions as to which ones Tony Banks wrote without any real knowledge.
Okay.
So I could be full of bunk here, but my guess is that the Wolf song was Tony Banks.
Yeah.
I'm going to save Peter Gabriel.
Okay. We'll have to fact check that later. And,
I think Stagnation is Peter Gabriel.
I think you're right. I think I just saw that
So
little
that's the
fact
one
in
about
there.
like nuclear war.
Oh, geez.
So I love the second side. I think it's great.
Yeah, this is a pretty short record overall. Well, it's only 6 songs, right? I mean, a little lengthy and tracks list.
I think the longest song is 8.5 minutes.
Okay.
8:55. The Knife.
And that's the last song. Okay. Not so bad. I see
This
a
to
little,
me is the blueprint of the later Genesis.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's a beautiful summer day. There's grassy hills. Gabriel's singing, particularly delicate. And you start to hear his water imagery, which he uses for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
Buried. They bury his vocals at the top.
Yeah. So weird. It is pretty low in the mix. There we go. They bumped it up, or he got closer to the mic, maybe.
I think that's just one take, and he just got closer. That's where they left it. They left it where the loudest part was.
That's kind of like what I heard about. We were talking Funhouse last episode. Don Gallucci produced that.
Yeah.
He was a keyboard player for the Kingsmen, famously recorded Louie.
Yeah.
So he was saying how when they went to record Louie, the at the time rock and roll was not a big thing, and recording engineers especially kind of like put their nose up to the whole thing, being like, it's like, what are these guys doing? Yeah, they're coming in here hooting and hollering and acting like jackasses, and so they had like placed everything like for a standard recording session, and the singer was very nasally.
The Louie singer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were asking the engineer, it's like, hey, do you think we could just like turn that down a little bit or something? And he's just like, that knob, you see that knob right there? It's like, that knob doesn't move. Like this guy was just being the asshole, just being like, no. Like you guys are doing something wrong in there. Like we don't touch this.
No one touches this knob.
Yeah, it's set for magic all the time, so we don't fuck with this. So their answer to that was like, oh, okay, well, how about we change the mic setting? Oh, I want to talk about that. Change the mic setting. We'll do it more like a room mic. So we'll put it up on a boom, and it kind of recorded this whole room sound, and that's how Louie got that sound to it. It was much more naturally reverby.
Yeah.
And it was because of that. They just like the engineer wouldn't change the levels, so they were like, okay, well, let's change the placement of the mic.
And where we sit, yeah.
Yeah, and so the singer was kind of like shouting from a distance to the mic instead of being up close on it.
Sure.
So, yeah, that can have something to do with the...
I've experimented with that. One of my bands, the drummer was very wealthy and had a very big house, and we used his very tall ceilinged room to record one day, and we tried a bunch of different things. So one was the one mic thing, the one good tube mic in the room, and trying to separate ourselves. And it sounded really authentic. It sounded like shit for us, but it's like, okay, for Elvis, that's fucking great. We got good here.
Well, so that effect that they did on the keys, do you know how he did that?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
Do you?
Well, I think I heard the story recently, so...
Oh, from what I understand, and that's why he uses the L series Hammond organs. They don't have a 2-switch. Most Hammond organs, folks, have 2 switches to start it. You have to hold one and then you hit the other. But the L series has just 1 switch in the M series. And so when you turn off that 1 switch, the organ goes...
So he had to turn the organ off and on.
Yes.
To get that drop pitch.
Yep.
Right.
That's what I believe he's doing.
That's what I heard. Yeah. What I heard was a simpler version of that, just saying that he turned the organ on and off.
Yes.
But I was just like, knowing that.
You can't do that with a C3 or a B3 organ.
Yeah. It needs like warm-up time, right?
Yep.
Like if you flip it back on.
You have a generator that like starts the motor. Yeah, it doesn't work at all. You can do it with a Hammond Portabee, because that's the 1 switch. Yeah, apparently the guy in the Genesis tribute band had to have a special switch installed because their vintage organ had the switch replaced, and it didn't work. It just turned it on and off. So they had to like get an old one to make it work just for that one song.
Jesus. Well,
how fun though.
I bet.
That's really fun shit.
No, that's a great like kind of example of like guys that are like pushing the envelope in discovery, just trying to discover their instrument,
And
discover
sounds.
what's possible. Because, no one had done that prior to this probably. There had probably been no successful pitch shifting
That's a good
on
point.
recording, really.
Good point.
70? I mean...
Yeah, not successful,
now
not musical and well done.
Right.
Right.
I mean, now they have...
Maybe Frank Zappa did it, but...
Yeah, but was he recording in 70? Yeah, he was.
We started
But he wasn't
66.
doing any of the weird, like, psychedelic stuff. And
Oh, he was weird from the beginning. Oh, wait, shh.
Will I wait forever beside the silent mirror and fish for bitter minnows?
For those of you listening, for those of you only listening, you should be tuning into the video and watching Dave's movements.
Water. Water. How many Peter Gabriel songs mention water? A shit ton. He likes the imagery.
Is he a Pisces?
Ooh, I don't know.
Might be a little water baby.
So now this little riff that we're going to go into, the outro of this song, was a staple of Genesis concerts for a long time. They would use it in a medley, and they would end the medley with that. It'd be like the only old song they supposedly played, and The Cage from The Lamb. But they basically would play nothing from anything before The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, except for The Cage, and then they would do, like I said, a medley of a bunch of instrumental shit that would end. I'm sorry, not this part yet. I forget, this has like 3 endings. It's going to end again, and then the final ending is the one they kept in concerts for a long time.
Huh. That's weird. So they would
They
actually
would stick
chop
it at
up.
the end of different songs and different keys.
Yeah.
Passionate vocals.
Yeah. I want to drink. You said it, Peter.
Wash out the filth that is deep in my blood. It's filthy. A song about a nuclear war. I don't get any of that from the lyrics. I only know that from reading interviews.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, that doesn't. You're making that shit up.
Yeah, that's a stretch. It's a stretch, Peter. But I'll drink to your health.
Here we go. This plays on flute first, but now this builds into this big organ riff. Big organ riff.
You said it.
My
you dick
12-year-old,
jokes
soon
today.
to be 13 in 3 days,
Oh.
Jack, he's discovered That's What She Said.
Oh, that's good.
It's all over the place. It's all over the place.
But does he know what the reference is?
Yeah, no, because we're
Oh,
very,
okay.
very clear with our children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, because like,
he used to do it for everything.
right.
And
Well,
we
that's
had
the
to
thing.
explain to him, listen, unless it sounds dirty, just don't do it, all right? we're very serious about our comedy in my house. Unless it's something dirty, don't do That's What She Said.
Right.
We said specifically it's got to refer to a penis of some sort. And secondly, don't do anything more than 3 times. That's it. It's not funny anymore.
It's true.
I've instilled this in my children since birth. 3 times.
Cool. That's a good rule. I gotta teach my kids that one.
No more. That's what she said. There's one.
Yeah. As soon as my kids get a laugh, it's just like, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna say it again.
3.
I'm gonna say it again.
Well, you do laugh for the 3, and the 4th would just
Right.
comedies in 3s. Everybody knows that. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, I gotta listen to this shit with headphones much more. Same thing's happened to me as last time. All of a sudden, all these little pieces I haven't heard since I was a kid start coming out. It's like, that's right. There's a little tinkly piano behind my head. God damn.
When you were a kid, did you like normally listen on headphones?
Nope.
Oh,
No,
okay.
only at night when it was late. So most of the time I had it blasting. I liked it vaguely loud. And then headphones were never by choice, but always was cool.
I mean, especially when you want to listen at night and you don't want to disturb anybody. You
Yeah.
don't let anybody know what you're doing necessarily.
Dusk. People consider this one a throwaway, I think, but I think this is one of their most lovely melodies ever. And I would like to have heard them do it. Or have kept it, there's no live versions.
No. From the way it's opening, it doesn't sound like a live song. Like you wouldn't really
No,
throw
wouldn't
that in
be
the
into
set.
that.
As boring as they may have been live.
Yeah.
I mean, that is it a
Maybe
British?
at a Celtic Woman show.
Is it a British thing? Because like, I think like
They're so afraid of looking stupid.
they look stupid standing still.
I agree, but I think that it's like this whole thing about reserve and civilization.
All right, you Brits lost me. But like the other band that comes to mind when I think about this like immobility on stage is Oasis. Have you ever seen them play like live or some at least video footage? of them?
Videos I have, yeah.
They're just so boring.
Oh, they don't. Yeah, they're
They
asleep.
don't move.
They're asleep. Yeah, it's
I'm just
amazing. Like they literally, they're like,
yeah.
it's like aggressively.
Like, are you having fun? Do you enjoy doing this at all?
Right, I feel bad, but I made them come.
It's just like a classical trained musician, like as if they're reading the music, and they have to just kind of focus on what they're doing.
You gotta roll with it. Yeah. No, very boring. I'm with you. Creedence Clearwater Revival. I've seen some footage of those guys. I find the music great.
Yeah.
But like outside
Stones?
of Fogerty is just he's very intense. He's fun to watch, but the rest of the guys, it's like, why are you there?
Really?
John Entwistle made a career out of that, though. Looking
Yeah.
in
He was
different,
good though.
right?
Oh,
Right,
man.
but he was the best bass player to ever walk, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I mean,
funny.
Keith Moon makes up for all the difference. I mean, he's like the spectacle that he would put on. I'm sure was legendary. So
And then we break out, and it gets kind of sucky here.
you know, it's hit or miss with the flute. You introduce the flute to any song, it's just like,
yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's true, and most of the time he nails it. This I don't think is one of those times. It's nice.
It
But
is
nice is easy. Just nice is in tune.
Yeah.
Nice isn't hard.
No.
I got to say, getting back to the rest of the song once they take one of these excursions always impresses me. They either it's well thought out or they're just pretty clever. So how do they do it here? Oh, they just stop. Or maybe this is a transition piece they made up. Yeah. then we're back to the tonic.
It's like they're ending the song and then they just pick it back up.
Yeah.
Okay. There's
Once as Jesus suffered, heaven could not see him. I don't think this is Peter Gabriel either.
That's weird, like handing over your lyrics to another singer, isn't it?
I've
never had to do it.
Oh, I've never had to do it, but I sort of have, because I've written musicals, and I've taught them to several different actors. I've never thought about this. It's not that weird. It's kind of cool, but it's also sometimes really frustrating.
Well, I think that would probably depend on the singer and their ability.
That's it.
Right.
So in my band now, I've only given one of my original songs to one of the other guys. It's an old song. And we did it in a set, and I felt bad he didn't have anything to sing, because when we do the originals, he basically this is our percussionist, vocalist. He's mostly regulated to singing some high notes and a couple of call and responses in the original stuff, because I do all of my lead vocals in general. But I gave him one, and he was fantastic, and it was really kind of cool to have somebody else singing my words. Now, being the singer singing other people's words, the knife bothers some people, but then to me I'm like, what can you sing then? If you can't sing other people's words, you're kind of lost as a singer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, doing covers and stuff like that, I mean, obviously you have to sing other people's words all the time.
All the time.
But it's not like they're looming over you, watching you, and being like, you're fucking this song up.
So that's different. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you're in the band with the person type thing, or if you're working in some situation like, like in a play, and you have actors that are singing the music that you've written,
Yeah.
I can imagine that seems kind of strange. Like I think about songs I've written, and I'm like, I would never want to see anyone sing these songs. I mean, I might, only because they could probably do better than me, but then I would be resentful.
I hear you.
But I am intrigued by that. Like the idea of like all these guys that are actually just like songwriters. Like they just write songs and they sell
just send them out. Yeah.
Yeah, and then all these other.
Uh-oh.
I think you.
Was that me?
I think that was a nudge. That was me. Let me just bring it back a little bit. Is this the beginning?
Yeah.
Sorry guys, we're just gonna bring it back just to make sure that was not a flub.
For those of you listening at home, we didn't start this right at the top this time. But we'll cue you back in when the vocals start.
Yeah.
So I know a buddy of mine watched. He queued it up at home so we could listen to it while we talked about it.
Are you serious?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh man. Oh, now we fucked him up.
Okay, and 1, 2, 3, vocal. Tell me my life is about to begin. That should help.
Thank you, Dave. That's perfect.
A friend from high school knows my level of geekdom. And so he saw on Facebook, oh, you want to hear me geek out about Genesis? He's like, oh, yeah, I do. And he clicked up. And I saw him recently after that. It was really complimentary. He's a very old friend of mine. God, man, since 7th grade, Terry. He said, I listened to every second and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
That's great. I did too. Honestly, realistically, I thought it was such a great, insightful episode because you literally dissected the record, which for me, I was just like, cool, because I want to understand this record better. I want to understand Genesis more because it's complicated.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
There really is. So to have somebody kind of guide you through it and be like, okay, now listen to this. This is coming up right here.
I never noticed that.
Yeah.
Okay, the guitar just dropped the riff and it's now going no. Never noticed that. I always thought it stayed on the riff. But now it's back on the riff. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. But that's exactly what I mean. I mean, you just did exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, that type of stuff. I was saying I'm not doing enough for this one.
Well, this isn't one of your favorites.
No, but I could dissect it better than I have been.
That's okay. I mean,
this song was Genesis's favorite closing number for a long while, up until Supper's Ready.
Okay.
Martyrs, of course, the freedom they shall provide. Fantastic guitar solo by Anthony Phillips.
Very metal sounding.
Oh, yeah.
It's a precursor to, like, metal.
Well, they were trying to be King Crimson.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, they're stealing a little bit there with the 21st century schizo man vocal.
Yeah. Huh. It's good. It's a
Guy,
good
not
sound.
a super accomplished guitar player, but perfect, I think, for this. And the double tracking, it's good.
Sometimes simple is good. Sometimes simple's all you
Yeah.
need. Doesn't have to be complicated.
This is not a hard song to play.
Oh yeah. I
It's-
have a hard time with covers in general.
Oh, well, the covers are hard. You know what I
I
mean?
mean-
But physically, I don't think you'd have a problem playing any of the
Oh,
bits
yeah.
of this. That's
Yeah.
all. It might be a hard song to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to
that's different.
memorize.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All the parts, all the changes. Yeah.
I can't believe that tribute band I was telling you about from Canada, the
Yeah.
Musical Box from Canada. Check them out. How they do it? I don't see any prompters. And in this last tour, they're doing like different sections from different songs and melding them together as medleys and doing stuff Genesis never did live, sort of as a celebration.
Yeah.
And like the amount of memorization that had to go into that. Even if you
Yeah.
knew the pieces already, now you have to kind of relearn your new arrangement.
Right. Yeah.
Flute. That's good flute.
That flute fits.
Right.
That's what she said.
Oh! I talked over the modulation. As a section slipped into this quiet section, right? They had that big and that's just boom, 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 boom. And it goes up just a half step. I mean, it might be a whole step. And it's like, all right, you obviously wrote this middle section in a different key and you couldn't figure out a transition. But it's so smart. It just like does it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay.
That's not something you catch in the.
No, it's really cool.
Huh.
But that basic, doom, 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 it was just a step down at the end of. I mean, the rest of the song was a step down from this, and it's going to go back, I believe. Oh no, it stays in this key for the rest. Now this build-up is genius. So they were young. I don't know who they were copying. I'm assuming they're copying somebody. But the way this just keeps building up with the same vocals and the noise building, I thought it was really smart. Cool.
I mean, that's just what.
Copying the Beatles.
I mean, that's just what they're excellent at. They're just so good at doing
All that
this.
weird shit. Fire over their heads. Dum, 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 dum. And all of a sudden, it's like Black Sabbath.
Yeah, so this record, they kind of started to do a couple of like heavier things, like
Yeah.
heavier rock riffing.
This is where they start getting fuzz.
Right.
And then Steve Hackett took it to a whole different level. Because Steve Hackett wanted to be Robert Fripp,
Okay.
as we've said.
Right.
Used all the same gear, from what I understand.
Okay.
Initially, the high watt, the Les Paul custom, the super fuzz. It's classic bluesy guitar playing there. Very different from Steve Hackett, actually.
So, what part of the song are we in right now of the night?
We're in the outro build-up.
Pre-outro.
Yeah.
These
I was
guys.
there at the end of the middle section.
Yeah.
Nice.
Poor, what's his name? John Mayhew,
Yeah.
the drummer.
Yeah, they just kicked him out.
Poor guy.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good record, and his performance is good. Granted,
Now,
it's
this
not.
means prog rock when you have a bolero. Anytime you have a bolero, that's prog rock. Tony Banks with the He's like, I'm just going to do this all day. My forearms don't hurt. He loves that. He has such stamina playing these long arpeggios that like go over like 2 minutes of the song.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I'm all. Now we need some bass. Where's the bass? Hey. Now it's major. We were minor. Now it's major. We're crazy. What the fuck are we doing?
So I love this here. The serial numbers on
Yeah.
the inner sleeve.
That's fuzzy. That's gonna be that can't get no satisfaction pedal that everyone had. It almost sounds like a horn. It's so distorted.
Yeah. You don't know which pedal it was exactly?
The wedge-shaped tone bender. The Maestro tone bender.
Maestro?
Maybe not Maestro. Might have been Gibson,
Gibson. I've seen one of those.
but it's a wedge-shaped metal box with a one. There are silver ones and brown ones with
Okay.
one button and two knobs on the back, and a hardwired cord.
Yeah, those things are so expensive.
I have a Japanese copy that sounds just like it.
Oh, okay.
It's so ugly. You can only use it for like 3 things. But the Monkees tribute,
Yeah.
that's the distortion in a ton of Monkees songs. So I use it for that, and it's spot on. Yep, Valerie, Auntie Griselda.
It's so fuzzy. I mean, it's such a heavy distortion. It's a fuzz, though, technically, right?
Yeah, we had this conversation last time. Deja vu.
What? No, we didn't.
Really?
About the fuzz pedal?
No, about the song Valerie.
Oh.
That came up. We talked about Monkees and Valerie.
Did we? I don't
Who
know if that made
knows?
the cut, dude.
Who knows? Who knows?
I did do some editing. We did talk off mic for a while, so
That's true.
I don't remember. I can only remember.
I only rewatched the podcast once, so I'm not sure either. But I thought it was in there. But anywho,
I did today just to revisit things that we touched on or didn't touch on or things
okay.
like that. So
all right. So no Valerie or Fuzzbox then. Yeah.
don't think so.
Yeah. So I have this Japanese copy. I got Daddy's Junkie Music. Somebody basically gave away a while back.
Wow.
And again, useless except for that one sound when you need it.
Useless, you think? I mean,
You could studio. There's a lot of good stuff you could do with it. I mean, for me, taking up the space in my pedal board is not really worth
it's
it.
a big box.
Yeah, it's big. It sucks a lot of energy. I have to actually use a 9-volt on it because I have so many things in my pedal board already. One extra pedal would be fine. I don't know what this thing is drawing, but when I plugged it in, it killed half my board when I
Jeez.
plugged it in. Yeah, I'm not sure if I might have a wire going wrong, but I put in batteries and everything's fine. It's old. It's I want to say 74, 75. Sola, SOLA, is the brand.
Would you do the honors? Would you slip it in?
That's what she said.
Oh God, this is not going to get
Why
old.
did she say that? That's generally what I say to the kid when he comes up with a weird one. It's like, but why would she ever say that, man?
Right.
Think about what you're telling me.
No, man, it's just too funny. Sometimes comedy doesn't have to make sense.
As long as it's no more than 3 times.
Correct. Right. Agreed on that. So Trespass. Second full-length debut, full-length record, studio album, first studio album of Genesis. Where does it fall in your ranking?
Oh, that's tough. Honestly, it because it switches around. For me, it's at the bottom of my Genesis records, but it switches sometimes. Shit. No, it's not at the bottom. Wind and Wuthering. First off, I don't know any Genesis records after Steve Hackett left.
Oh yeah,
I know the what's it called? Genesis.
they're
that album.
self-titled, right?
Yeah, I know that a little bit, and I love Home by the Sea quite a bit. So if I'm going to include like all the Genesis records I know,
Oh okay.
if I'm going
Sure.
to do that, then the Genesis one's probably at the bottom. But Wind and Wuthering is my least favorite. I would then say, it's tough. It is so tough. This or Foxtrot, because Foxtrot, I love Watcher of the Skies and I love Supper's Ready, but I find myself never listening to anything else on it and never listening to Supper's Ready. I've heard it enough, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So Foxtrot's just not one of my favorites anymore.
Huh.
So that depending on my mood. So today that's above Foxtrot. So I would go from the bottom would be Wind and Wuthering, Foxtrot, Trespass, Nursery Crime, Selling England, Lamb Lies Down.
Lamb Lies Down is at the top.
Absolutely.
Even though they got that whole second disc you could basically throw away.
No. Only the second half of the second disc. Only the second half.
Okay, so a third of the record is not great.
No,
a third of the album.
A quarter of the album.
Quarter of the album. I'm sorry. Quarter. Yeah, I can't.
I think a quarter of the album is a little tough to listen to, and even there's still a great little jam keyboard solo that I love. That's one of my favorite parts of the album, is even on that section. But the rest of it, oh God! Once he cuts off his dick and he has to go chase after it, and he goes into the ravine. Well, the ravine's the part I like, and then he comes out, and then
with you describing it like verbally like that, like as far as like the lyrical content is, I suppose it sounds a lot stranger than what I remember.
Probably you're right. Okay, so story-wise,
no. I go. You can keep
once
going.
our hero Rail has sex with the Lamia and becomes a grotesque creature, they kind of lose me. And you've got like 5 songs left at that point, one of which has a big instrumental jam, which is kind of cool. I think we might have talked about this last time, how you'll find once Collins joins in his albums, and I think up until the end that he was in the band, you will find little sections that were obviously the 3 of them jamming on something so that Banks could solo over it. And it's almost always odd meter. And in the old days, it would be odd meter, 12-string with bass pedals, playing with the drums, and then keyboards. Left hand would be playing chords, right hand would be doing a solo. Yeah. And that's in each album. And there's always a great part that does that, and I love that shit. So they do it again in The Lamb. I enjoy that. And then I think the album peters out. Sorry, guys.
Hey, no, it's just your opinion. It doesn't matter.
Just my opinion.
Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks.
However, the first 3 sides are like my favorite music in the world. So who knows?
Yeah, I got to get my hands on that again. I've only had 1 copy of that.
Oh, it's such a great album.
So I gotta.
And all the lyrics are Peter Gabriel until that second side. Most of it's still him, but I want to say there's like 2 songs at the very end he didn't do all the lyrics to.
I'll have to just put it on the music thing. I've been using the Apple Music lately. I started a subscription with them.
You want to listen to it as a piece, though. You don't want a weird song coming out.
No, that's why I'm saying, because I actually started a subscription with Apple Music. So they actually have a surprisingly good selection of records.
Yeah, my wife has that.
Yeah. So I'll give that a whirl.
I highly recommend it. You got to sit into it, and it will reveal itself to you.
Oh, really?
Kind of. I think the first song is kind of not great.
That's what she said.
Yeah, she did say that, though.
You got to sit with it, and it'll reveal itself. But no, because I usually, walk around at work all day. So I typically have the earbuds in, and I just listen to whatever I want to listen to. So,
are you familiar with the first King Crimson album? In the Court of the Crimson King.
Yeah, I've had a couple copies of that.
That one. That's the Genesis of Genesis.
Yeah.
That's another album that's not a lot of fun to listen to, but is definitely worth the time to get into it. And some of it's super fun to listen to.
Yeah.
Some of it's amazing.
Right.
Other parts, you're like, oh, geez, here we are. I want to say, like the first song on the second side, I think that's what it is, Moonchild.
I like Moonchild.
Moonchild is gorgeous, but then it goes off for like 5 minutes.
Right.
Into them like twinkling in the studio.
Yeah.
And you could easily drift off, and it's great, but like if you try to listen to that, it's very difficult.
Right.
If you try to stay with it and not let your brain wander.
Right.
And go, oh, that was a bell. That's him scraping his strings. That's very difficult to do.
It's true.
But I think that's good too. So if that one comes in, sign me up.
Oh, I already had it.
If it comes in again, sign me. You've already had a podcast on it?
No, I didn't do a show
That's
on
what I'm
it.
saying, bro.
Yeah, it was the EG editions. It was one of those.
Yeah, Robert Fripp has been holding on to it with iron manacles, the whole catalog. He just released it to Spotify
Oh
Like-
yeah.
weeks ago
Oh,
for
cool.
the first time.
He didn't want to digitize it. He didn't want it to go out to streaming services.
No, it was out, but you had to pay for it. Spotify didn't carry it.
Right.
You could only buy it like on Apple,
Right.
I think iTunes,
One of the
or
one of those
Amazon. I
services.
think had it too.
Okay. So it
Um,
had been digitized, but not for streaming.
Exactly.
Right.
And same thing with videos. Only right now, recently, like seriously, like last week, did I find ever, and it's still the only one I've ever seen, the only one I can still find, a video of 21st Century Schizoid Man, played by King Crimson, all the way through, where you could see Robert Fripp playing. There's a small clip of it from 1969 with no footage of him, and that is it. And they released a DVD from a live show in Japan, and like anything else, it wasn't allowed out. And he finally just started to let bits of it go on YouTube from his own personal YouTube site, DGM Entertainment, whatever it is, his production company. So that's how tight he is about that stuff. Just so you know.
Okay.
So yeah, that was it. They have like a 8-piece band now, and they're touring. And I guess he's getting old and figuring, I can make a couple more bucks if I just let this go now.
Might as well.
It's not doing you any good anymore, right?
I mean, so you pretty much suck that dry.
Right.
I
That's
mean,
that teat is empty, man. Let some people have that shit. Maybe you'll get some more people at the concerts now. You know.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's good for.
Not everybody wants to go see a band with 3 drummers out front playing 2 hours of atonal, fucking arrhythmic.
I think that realistically, he's probably been lucky to have an audience up to this point anyway. I mean, because some of the music is kind of hard to
It's so hard.
tolerate.
There are whole albums that are just unlistenable to me by King Crimson, which I can't say about a ton of bands that have stayed bands. Usually you figure they get dropped, but there's that whole spate of stuff. Well, I guess it's not a spate. It's like 2 albums, 3 albums. In the Wake of Poseidon, Islands, and Lizard are all.
Was it those 80s that
No,
trio?
that's pre that.
Oh, okay.
This is okay. So it was Chord of the Crimson King was the first album.
Yep.
Band broke up. Did In the Wake of Poseidon with hired people. Did Islands with different hired people. Did Lizard with different hired people, or some of the same throughout. And then he gave up. And then a couple of years later, he reformed with Bill Bruford from Yes and John Wetton from Family, and another guy, David Cross, on violin. And that was a great lineup. And they did 3 albums, which was Lark's Tongues and Aspic, Starless and Bible Black, and Red. Then they broke up again. Then he reformed with Adrian Belew on guitar, Bill Bruford on drums, and Tony Levin on stick. And that's the 80s.
Oh, okay.
3 albums of fucking... Which I don't really like, but I don't dislike either.
Yeah.
It sounds too Talking Heads to me, and I don't like the Talking Heads, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't like I'm not a fan of that kind of vocal thing. I'm autistic and talking now. Kind of thing, which it's not every song, but it seems to be a big part of Adrian Belew's work with King Crimson.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just hearing the same song over and over. Don't know.
Yeah.
Bad
I
memory.
couldn't tell you.
But yeah, I'm not a fan of that. And many incarnations ever since, with Robert Fripp being the only through line.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. I'll that's one of those things I just have to get into eventually. I'm not gonna.
No, first album, just. Actually, I'd recommend Lark's Tongues and Aspic.
I know that they're obviously, yes, they have some very good records, but
Depends on your mood.
yeah, it's definitely. I mean,
It's like evil sounding shit.
they're just not one of those bands that I
evil
find
jazz.
enjoyable. Like
No,
they have
it's
songs
not enjoyable, right?
that I'm
It's-
definitely like, okay, like this is a great song.
It's like an ordeal to listen to.
Yeah.
But you feel at the end like you got something out of it. Is kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, you feel some
like Diamanda Galas. Are you familiar with her work?
No.
For anyone who knows, I'm just looking at the camera, I think, and going, oh shit. Anyone who doesn't, just Google it and YouTube some. She's a vocalist. She's, at this point, she's an older lady. She was more of an 80s, 90s solo vocalist who was really interested in exploring darkness and vocal expressionism. So she could sing. She apparently was a trained opera singer and occasionally would sing. But mostly I know her for making really terrifying sounds.
Okay.
And she did it on record, and then I saw her in concert where they just turned out all the lights and they shot her voice around in surround sound, and I wanted to piss myself. The lights came on. No word of a lie. Lights came on. You saw everybody go. You see that? Everybody. It was amazing.
Wow.
But it's fucking terrible. I wouldn't wish it on anyone to have to
Terrible
listen
as
to
in
it.
terrifying, or terrible as in like I don't want to listen to this shit?
Terrible as in like grand and terrifying.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. The
Like,
best of both worlds.
terrible. Like fucking Lord of the Rings. Terrible. Yeah, it's. So you should absolutely delve a little bit into her stuff. Start easy. Start with like a cover. Start with her doing, say, 20 Minutes to Go by Johnny Cash. Or I Put a Spell on You. Start with that before you get into her litanies of Satan or Shri X, which is the piece I saw. You don't want that. You don't want that.
That doesn't sound like I want that. No.
No.
All right.
Okay, anyway, Diamanda Galas, thank you for your work.
I will look it up. I will look it up and have some nightmares. So, yeah, man. We're good.
This is fantastic.
Is
Thanks
there
for having me again.
anything you needed me to mention? Anything?
Hey, if you see this and it's not yet that time, come down to the News Cafe on July 12th to check out the Rock and Roll Circus at 8 p.m. We've got, I dare say, great music and some really fun non-musical acts that will be happening in between. That's fun. I think it's fun. What else we have going on this month? We're playing Tunes on the Dunes in Westerly Beach from 6 to 8 on Monday, July 29th. We got something else, too. We're playing the Mixed Magic Theater, July 27th, Saturday night, outside in their outdoor amphitheater.
Mixed Magic Theater?
Mixed Magic Theater, North Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay.
That's where we did Jesus Christ Superstar last year. And they're doing a concert series every Saturday, and we're one of those shows. So we're going to do some eclectic stuff that night as well, I think. And that's it. That's all I got.
Cool. Sounds great.
Yeah,
DaveTessier.com, right?
DavidJTessier.com.
DavidJTessier.com. Cool, man.
Dave Tessier took it, apparently. That dick. I don't know who that guy
That
is.
fucking dick, Dave. All right, Dave. Cool, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will call you with In the Court of the Crimson King.
You better.